stop scrolling because 1982 had rock bands that should have been legends, but history just skipped them. And once you hear number one, you'll wonder how the world ever let them slip. This isn't a most famous list. This is 12 forgotten rock bands of 1982 who deserve more with the songs that prove it. If you love raw guitars, neon new wave, punk fire, and heavy riffs, you're about to find new favorites. I'll stop the world and melt with you. Picture dim club lights, sweat on the walls, amps buzzing, and that moment when a band is one song away from blowing up. But the label, the radio, or the timing says no. Because if we don't talk about these bands, they stay buried and you miss the roots of modern rock. Some of these groups influenced everything, but never got the credit.
Through this, I know I told you that before.
Stick with me through the countdown because by the end you'll have a full playlist of hidden 1982 classics. And the number one pick is the one that'll make you say, how is this band not huge? Number 12, Raven, Wiped Out. This one feels like a small UK club where the ceiling is low and the sound is loud. You can almost smell the leather jackets and feel the kick drum in your ribs. It's fast, it's sharp, and it doesn't apologize. Facts and context. Wiped Out is Raven's second album, released June 3, 1982 on Neat Records. It was recorded in 1982 at Impulse Studios in Walsall, England, and it was produced by Raven and Keith Nichol, who also engineered it. This album sits in that new wave of British heavy metal moment when bands were pushing speed and energy like they were trying to outrun the old rules. The songs hit themes like wild nights, survival, and high-speed living, not poetry class, more like keep up or get left behind. Fun fact, Raven didn't just show up with a producer telling them what to do. They're credited as producers themselves alongside Keith Nichol. That's the sound of a band grabbing the steering wheel. Why is Forgotten underrated? A lot of people talk about the biggest metal names, but Raven's label Neat was smaller, and the scene was packed with competition. So this album became one of those records you find later and go, wait, how did I miss this? Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And the next tune, same underground spirit, but now we leave the metal club and step into a dance floor where the guitar and sax fight for space.
Hey, Rocklore community. Before we continue, let's have a real talk for a second, bro. You know, this isn't just a channel to us. And I hope it's not just a place you come to watch a video and then forget about it. This is a community. It's a place where we get to dig up the secrets of rock and roll, share our favorite riffs, and celebrate the artists who maybe didn't get the love they deserved. Right now, only about 1% of our viewers are subscribed. We can change that together and grow this community. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button with the notification bell on. When you do, you're not just helping a channel grow, you're becoming a member of the Rocklore family. You're signaling to us and to YouTube that these stories matter, that this music is worth preserving, and that this community is a place you want to be. Subscribing is your way of making sure you're always in the loop. It means you'll be the first to know when we unearth a forgotten legend, drop a new countdown, or dive into a piece of rock history you've never heard before. So if you're a true fan of the lore, if you get that same feeling of discovery that I do, then come join us. It takes 1 second to be a part of something bigger.
Number 11, Romeo Void, Never Say Never. This feels like a downtown night where the streetlights look blurry and the club door guy is judging everyone. The bass is thick, the beat moves like a walk, and the sax hits like a warning sign. It's punk attitude, but you can dance to it. Facts and context, Never Say Never was released as a single in November 1982 on Columbia. It was produced by Rick Ocasek, yes, that Rick Ocasek, and Ian Taylor. The song became a favorite on early MTV, and the video even plays like a spoof of the film Breathless. On the charts, it hit number 17 on Billboard's Dance Disco chart, week of March 27, 1982. Lyrically, it's that don't push me energy about boundaries and control. Like someone saying, I'm not scared, I'm just not playing games.
Maybe that's never say never.
Fun fact, when you hear that clean, sharp edge, that's part of why Rick Ocasek is a big deal. He knew how to make weird music sound tight and modern, not messy. Why It's Forgotten. Underrated. A lot of people remember one line and treat it like a one-moment song. But this wasn't a joke band. This was dance rock with teeth. And it deserved more space in the story of 80 Seconds Rock. This is Crate Digger Gold. Keep listening, because the next band is pure 80 Seconds neon. The kind of music that makes you see city lights even when you're sitting still. Number 10. Missing Persons. Walking in L.A. This feels like a hot Los Angeles afternoon, bright sun, hard shadows, and fast people who don't slow down. The beat is clean, the synths sparkle, and the vocals feel like they're smirking at the whole city. Facts and context. Spring Session M, their debut album, came out October 8, 1982 on Capitol Records. It was recorded between 1980 and 1982 at Chateau Recorders in Los Angeles and produced by Ken Scott. The album had real chart power. It peaked at number 17 on the Billboard 200 and was certified gold by the RIAA. It also spun off singles like Words, Destination Unknown, and Walking in LA. And the lyrics? They're basically a funny observation about how people live like, in this city, everybody drives. That's not a long quote, just the idea. Fun fact, the album title Spring Session M is literally an anagram of missing persons. That's the kind of nerdy cool detail that makes you love a band more. Why It's Forgotten, underrated. They got filed away as new wave, like it's just fashion and hair. But the hooks were real, the band was tight, and the album had range beyond the famous song. Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And the next tune? It's colder on the surface, but it hides a warm heart inside the sound. Number 9, Modern English. I Melt With You. This feels like holding hands in a cold wind. The guitars shimmer like light on ice, but the melody is sweet. It's the kind of song that plays in your head when you're young, and everything feels big.
Stop the world and melt. Out with you.
Facts and context. Modern English released After the Snow on April 23, 1982. It was recorded at Rockfield Studios in Wales and came out on 4AD. The album was produced by Hugh Jones and the band themselves. And yes, this album spawned the worldwide hit I Melt With You. That's the track people know, but the album around it has a moodier, stranger side that doesn't always get credit. Fun fact, the band later re-recorded I Melt With You in 1990s for another album. That tells you how much people wanted that song again and again. Why It's Forgotten, underrated. Because the hit is so bright, people assume the whole album is bright. But it's not. It's a full post-punk world with shadows and weird corners, and this is Crate Digger Gold. Keep listening, because the next band hits like a lightning strike. And it's where that controversy I tease starts to make sense. Number 8, Bad Brains, band in DC. This feels like a room that's too small for the energy inside it. The drums race, the guitars slash, and the vocals sound like they could jump off the stage. Then out of nowhere, you get that reggae-colored swing like the band is telling you, we can do anything.
I shown us a better way.
Facts and context. Bad Brains' self-titled debut, often called The Yellow Tape, was released February 5, 1982 on the cassette-only label ROIR. It was recorded at 171A Studio in New York City and produced by Jay Dublee. And yes, Banned in DC is on that release. The nickname Yellow Tape comes from the yellow packaging fans, remember?
With unity and love for your brother.
Controversy payoff, the one I tease. Remember I told you one band got shut out at home? This is it. Here's the balanced version. There are different ways people tell this story. One version says Bad Brains were blacklisted, unofficially banned from many Washington area clubs around 1979, and the band later addressed that feeling in Banned in DC. Another version pushes back and says they weren't literally banned, but their shows were so intense that venues got nervous and it still made it hard to get booked. What's clear is their live energy, the crowd reaction, and the fear around hardcore shows created real friction with venues. And this had a real effect. Bad Brains relocated to New York around that era, and by 1982 they were playing places like CBGB, helping spark the hardcore scene there. So the controversy isn't just gossip, it's about who gets space, who gets labeled too dangerous, and how quickly a scene can close doors on the very people building it. That's why this tune isn't just music, it's history. Fun fact, the band's own discography still notes the Yellow Tape identity recorded in 1982.
I tell you.
Number 7, Asterisk, the Dream Syndicate, That's What You Always Say. This song feels like times Los Angeles. At night, times streetlights, empty roads, and your mind racing faster than your car. The guitar has that times bright, ringing times sound, but there's also a rough edge. Like the band is smiling while they're still a little angry. It's the kind of rock you hear and think, yeah, this is real.
Used to be such a joy, 'cause ever since that time I told.
Facts and context. This track is from their debut album, The Days of Wine and Roses, released in October 1982 on Ruby/Times. The album was recorded in September 1982 inches, Los Angeles, and it was produced by Chris D. The lyrics feel like a relationship argument where one person keeps hearing the same excuse again and again, like,
'Cause ever since that time I told you so. Something
you say you'll change, but it's always the same story. And impact-wise, this album became a big deal in the underground because it mixed classic rock songwriting with noisy, fearless guitars, helping shape what people later called indie alternative rock. Fun fact, Steve Wynn, the singer, said they had 3 midnight to morning sessions at Quad Tech in Hollywood, and they basically tracked all 9 songs the first night, then did vocals in quick overdubs, then mixed it like a fast, focused mission.
changed my mind, 'cause ever since that time I told you so.
Why it's forgotten, underrated. They didn't have big radio power, and they didn't sound like shiny mainstream 1982 rock. This was louder, messier, and more honest. So it lived in record stores and late night stations.
Here and gone. That's what you want.
Instead of prime time. But the people who know. This is Crate Digger Gold. And the next band, same late night feeling, but more dreamy and widescreen, like you're driving under a sky full of stars. That's number 6, The Church. Number 6, The Church, Almost With You. This one feels like late night driving with the windows cracked open. The streetlights blur, The air is cool, and your thoughts get loud in your head. The guitar sounds like it's shining, but it's still a little sad, like a smile that's hiding something. Facts and context. Almost With You is the lead single from the Blurred Crusade, released 25 March 1982. The album was recorded in 1981 at Studios 301 Inches, Sydney, and it was produced by Bob Clearmountain. In simple words, the song feels like it's about being close to someone, but not fully there. Like love is right in front of you, but you can't grab it yet. The album helped shape that dreamy rock sound that later bands would chase for years. And it wasn't just cool, it also did real numbers at home. The Blurred Crusade reached No. 10 Inches Australia, and Almost With You hit No. 21 on the singles chart. Fun fact, Bob Clearmountain is famous for making records sound big and clear. And you can hear it here, the guitars feel wide, like they fill the whole room. Why It's Forgotten, underrated. A lot of people only talk about the biggest radio rock of the 80 seconds, so The Church gets filed away like they were just a mood band. But this is the kind of music that stays with you for life, because it's gentle and strong at the same time. Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And the next tune, the mood turns darker like a movie at midnight, because the next band mixed punk and blues and made it feel haunted.
I know I'm out across years and I said
Number 5, The Gun Club. Carry Home. This feels like walking down an empty street with your hands in your pockets and your heart racing for no reason. The guitar sounds dusty and wild, like it came from a broken jukebox. And the singer sounds like he's telling the truth, even if it hurts. Facts and context. Carry Home opens Miami, released September 20, 1982. The album was recorded in June 1982 at Blank Tape in New York, released on Animal, and produced by Chris Stein. The Gun Club's whole thing was taking old blues feelings, lonely, scared, searching, and smashing them into punk energy.
I know I'm out across years and I said
On Miami, you hear songs about being lost, being tempted, trying to be tough, and still feeling pain inside. The record also has a cool connection. Animal Records was founded by Chris Stein, and he didn't just put the album out, he produced it too.
through so many highways.
Fun fact, Debbie Harry, also from Blondie, sings backing vocals on some tracks, but she used a fake name in the credits. It's like a secret cameo hiding in the shadows.
So carry on.
Why It's Forgotten. Underrated. This band didn't sound safe. And labels back then loved safe. They were too rough, too honest, and too strange for the neat boxes of radio.
Come go with me. Come go and see.
But if you like rock that feels real, this is a treasure. This is crate digger gold. Keep listening, because the next band is pure speed and power, like the whole room is shaking and nobody wants it to stop. And the next band, same late night feeling, but more dreamy and widescreen, like you're driving under a sky full of stars. That's number 6, The Church. Number Dirt, Hüsker Dü, Data Control. This feels like a tiny club, where the stage is almost on the floor, and the band is playing like their lives depend on it. The drums are running, the guitars are buzzing, and the crowd is bouncing like a storm. It's fast, but it's not sloppy. It's focused anger. Facts and context. Data Control is on Landspeed Record, Hüsker Dü's first full-length release, and it came out in January 1982 on New Alliance Records. The album is a live recording from August 15, 1981. captured at the 7th Street entry in Minneapolis. Hüsker Dü produced it themselves. What's wild is how this album feels like a snapshot of a band before the world caught up. The songs are short and sharp, like punches. Data Control stands out because it's longer and it sounds like panic and pressure, like you're stuck inside a machine that won't slow down. It's not a love song. It's more like a warning something is wrong and it's getting louder. Fun fact, the whole record is basically 17 songs in about 26 minutes, which means they played with zero fear, just pure emotion. Why is forgotten, underrated. A lot of people talk about Hüsker Dü later, when they got more melodic, so this early live blast gets skipped, even though it shows where so much alternative rock energy comes from. Real heads keep this one like a secret key, and the next tune, different mood, but the message cuts deeper because the next band made a beautiful kind of sadness, and the industry didn't know what to do with it.
Dance in the streets.
Number 3, the sound all fall down. Controversy payoff. Label pressure plus no hit rebellion. This feels like standing in the rain, looking at a bright city, and still feeling alone. The music moves, but it carries weight. It's not trying to impress you, it's trying to tell you something. Facts and context. All Fall Down was recorded in March and August 1982 at the Manor Studio and Trident Studios, then released in October 1982 on WEA. The album was produced by The Sound and Nick Robbins. The title track, All Fall Down, is right there on the track list, and it sets the tone. This is music about things breaking inside your life, inside your head, inside the world around you. Controversy payoff. This is the story I tease. Remember I teased that there's a band here that had to fight the system? This is one of the clearest cases. Here's the balanced truth. The Sound's label wanted them to make something more commercially successful because their earlier albums didn't break through big with the public. But instead of chasing a radio hit, the band pushed back. The story told in reviews and band comments is that The Sound rebelled and made an album that was called Distinctly Uncommercial. And then the consequences hit. The album was poorly received by critics, no singles were released, and it led to the end of their contract with WEA. So the controversy isn't a scandal, it's something colder, label power. It's the music business saying, give us a hit, and the band saying, no, we're making the record we believe in. That's why this tune isn't just music, it's history. Fun fact, the album actually has a track called Party of the Mind, and that title is perfect because this whole record feels like a battle happening inside your thoughts. Why it's forgotten, underrated. When a band gets dropped and doesn't get pushed by a big label anymore, their story can fade fast. But if you love post-punk that feels human and brave, All Fall Down is a hidden classic. This is Crate Digger Gold. Keep listening, because next up is pure danger like rock music with a broken smile and a match in its hand. Number 2, The Birthday Party. She's hit. This feels like a loud band playing in a room that's too small, while everyone's eyes are wide like, what is happening? The guitars are jagged, the beat is heavy, and the vocals sound like a person turning into a storm. It's not pretty, it's powerful. Facts and context. She's Hit is track 1 on Junkyard, released 10 July 1982. The album was recorded across AAV Studio, 2 Inches Melbourne, and Matrix Studios in London. And it was released through 4AD in the UK and Missing Link in Australia. Production credits go to Richard Mazda, Tony Cohen, and Nick Launay.
And Mr. Evangelist.
This band's world was messy and extreme. The songs feel like they're about bad choices, fear, desire, and dark corners of the mind. And She's hits hard, right away. No warm-up, no soft intro, just straight impact.
So now action on my face.
Fun fact, the Wikipedia track list shows She's Hit runs over 6 minutes, which is a long time to stay that intense, and somehow they do it. Why It's Forgotten, underrated, because this isn't easy listening, so the mainstream story moves past it. But the influence is huge. Bands that came later learned you could mix punk, blues, noise, and theater into one wild thing. Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And now, the last one. The band that sounded like Tomorrow, back in 1982, smart, loud, and way ahead of the world.
Quick break. If you love music stories like this, check out our sponsor, The Lore Store on Amazon. It's like a special music collection with books, vinyl, gear, and culture picks for rock, pop, hip-hop, R&B, Afro music, and reggae. What I like is that it's not random stuff. Everything is picked on purpose, and there are some real hidden gems in there. And just so you know, when a good item sells out, it may not come back. The link is in the description, and if you shop through it, you're also supporting this channel.
Number 1, Mission of Burma, Trem 2. This feels like college radio at midnight, someone speaking into a mic like they're sharing a secret. The guitars are sharp, the drums are steady, and the song moves like a mind that won't sit still. It's energetic, but it's also thoughtful like punk rock with a brain. Facts and context. Trem 2 is on V's. Mission of Burma's debut studio album released October 11, 1982 on Ace of Hearts. The album was recorded from January to April 1982 at Normandy Sound in Rhode Island, and it was produced by Richard W. Hart. If you listen with simple ears, the lyrics and mood often feel like a person trying to stay calm while the world feels confusing, like you want control, but life keeps shaking. That's why Mission of Burma matters. They made songs you could headbang to and think about. And there's a real reason this band became myth level. V's ended up being their only full studio album in the 1980s because they broke up not long after, partly due to guitarist Roger Miller's worsening tinnitus. Hearing problems. Fun fact, Trem 2 sits early in the track list, like the album is saying, here, this is the sound, this is the mission. Why It's Forgotten, underrated, because they weren't built for pop charts, they were built for people who dig deep. And when a band stops early, the mainstream forgets fast. But if you want the blueprint for so much indie and alternative rock, V's is right there. This is Crate Digger Gold. Now that you've heard the top picks, keep listening, because the real fun starts when you tell me which band you're adding to your playlist first.